Hi, yeah, I'm Megan Alnico. I am a sci-fi writer and podcast host of the podcast Word Crash, and I am super excited to be here today to play with everyone.
I love that you're giving the content warning while there is a literal child on the screen.
He doesn't understand anything that's happening, and I have headphones on.
Steven,
I know.
apparently.
I find that amusing.
No.
No, apparently someone's only hearing Megan.
Well, hey, that's fantastic. Listen to me all you want.
It's
Buy
time
my
for a
book.
technical difficulty. I'm glad we're getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
Good.
Uh,
I'm hearing everyone but Steven.
No, now I can't hear you.
obligatory.
There we go. Is
technical
that better?
difficulties. Do.
Let me just switch a page real quick. Yep, it's working just fine. Okay. Can everyone hear me now? I hope.
Yes, it's working now.
All right. Good deal. Excellent.
I had the Twitch stream up, but it's on a slight delay, so I had to wait for it to catch up.
Hey, all right. Well, okay, so the only things you guys missed is this is Megan. She's lovely. I keep pointing to the wrong side. There we go. She also does a game show for like creative types and writers called Word Crash. It's located on YouTube, all the major podcast places, so check it out. You guys missed the disclaimer while I was muted. Hey. So this is a dark fantasy game. Just be aware of your own triggers, like be responsible with your media consumption. You get the gist. Also, we love Syrinscape. Syrinscape is what we use for a lot of our music and sound effects stuff, so everyone can hear it. You should be able to hear it too. This is going to be great. With that being said, I'm going to roll a d4 because Megan was not here last time, and so she is thusly, unfortunately, excluded a little bit. We are going to see who's going to start us off with a little recap of what happened. Oh, that is Nathaniel. Okay.
Oh, no! I legit only remember what happened at the very end.
Okay, so share the very end.
Okay, so everyone else can backfill. At the very end, finally leaving this forest and this whole mess with these Wendigos and everything else, we found ourselves back into this sort of underground cave with these docks. And Angelique was there looking older than when we left. And that was the last thing that happened. Robin, do you remember anything other than that?
You just covered everything that I remember at all.
This is what happens when we miss a session and it's been a month.
Well, I have been stalking all of you by watching. And you know what I remember? I remember some big monster. I remember a big monster. And Vera's character cast some kind of restoration on its heart or some crystal. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And there was this pool.
It was
everyone got their
Crom.
ideals.
That's right. It was an embodiment of Crom.
Oh, that's right. Because I'm wearing armor now and look like a knight properly.
Yeah, we jumped in the sea, and then it's like Nim kept going down. It's like, don't go down, Nim.
I love that the guest knows the story better than we do.
Well, some of us had to study. Like, we're all like, oh, what am I going to do when I'm here? I got to find out what this is like. So you watch a couple and you know, yeah. Hopefully, I'm prepared now.
MARISA, do you want to round us out?
Yeah. So we wound up. I'm trying to remember exactly how we got into the magical. It's the Feywild, right? That's what it is.
It's the Wild is what it's called.
The Wild.
It's kind of like the Feywild, the Shadowfell, a lot of these different magical realms all combined and smashed together. Think of it more like the spirit world from Avatar, and you're closer.
Okay, that makes sense. So we were camping in the woods, I believe, and you know, being tempted by this magical lake situation. And then Nim went down under the lake, and then that's what pulled us into the wild, I believe. Like escaping from what was in there, or maybe that was in the wild already. And then we had to fight Crom, and we won. Yes, that's correct, right? Most of it. Some of the details are squishy. B- effort, MARISA. You did it.
You did it. You guys all did it. You did great. Yeah. The only other thing that I want to throw in is that there were scenes that happened last time of what was going on in the world around you during the jump, if you will, the time jump that inevitably happened. And when that happened, you saw things that referred to another campaign, Ashes of Ardor, over on Nerdarchy's channel. So if you want to check out the Nerdarchy channel, look up Ashes of Ardor. That's a whole playlist. That was a complete campaign. That was also in this world and setting. During a lot of the same events that happen in this campaign, you'll be able to tell when everything started there by something that's happened, a big deal here. With that being said, we have a new layout. We have a new intro. So we're going to show you guys that new intro now. And we are back. So, look at that spicy intro. It's great. One other thing to note before we get started, I am sick right now. I might sound gross at some points. I apologize in advance. That being said, you guys have stepped out of the wooded area that's immediately beside this large cave that leads to the giant lake that feeds a river that goes down into the continent all the way through Voirais. And you have seen that Angelique seems to be orchestrating a lot of the efforts that are going on currently. You see her like commanding some sailors to carry these crates over here. There's one crate that has the top popped a little bit. She lifts it, looks inside, and there's like bottles upon rows of just wine. And she turns. While she's examining this bottle, she picks it up, she turns, and across the river, she sees all of you. She drops the bottle, and it shatters at her feet. She is just staring dead at you guys right now. Not all of you, mind you, the 4 of you.
Yeah, there is no stopping me from crossing to her immediately.
Okay, are you jumping in the river?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. In your armor?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that Mask would think about that because I've not been wearing armor this entire time.
That's valid. So, go ahead and give me an athletics roll.
Okay.
That'd be a heck of a way to go.
I am going to use the point of inspiration that I get because I nat 1'd with a -1 and I dirty 0'd.
Yep. Oh, we do start every
15.
session with inspiration, Megan, just so you know.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
15.
15. All right, so you sploosh. And when you sploosh, you realize, oh, shit, I'm wearing armor. And for a brief second, you have that, like, panic moment, but you get it together, you go, and you just swim because you are athletic. You know how this works, sir, and you just boom, 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 all the way across, freestyling it like a champ. Climb out of the other side, sopping wet, probably not great for the armor, but, you know, Angelique is right there, and she approaches you. She's wearing this very regal green dress, and it has red accents in, like, the lace and in the ribboning that tightens the corset and whatnot. And she has this vivid red eye makeup that just shadows her eyes. She walks up to you. Her eyes are huge at this point.
I proceed to take a knee, like a straight up knight style, and I say, I am so sorry to have kept you waiting.
We thought you were dead.
Well, as you can probably see, rumors of our death have been greatly exaggerated.
And she just throws the broken handle of the wine bottle that she's been holding this whole time. She just throws it aside, and she runs up and gives you this big hug.
I stand and spin her around like I've been doing since she was a small child.
And she, like, fully goes with it. It is gorgeous. Her dress just makes it, like, even more of a show. And you see the sailors seem to be going about a lot of their duties and whatnot. You see this mousy looking man with this pencil mustache start, like, ordering them, like, keep going, go about your duties, you know what you're supposed to do. And he just sort of, like, takes over what she was doing with overseeing everything. The other 3 of you are on the opposite side of the river.
Is there a non-splooshing way to get across?
So you see that right about now there are the sailors have started lowering the lifeboats, and they're taking them over to, like, ferry you guys, because you're very important people here, right? Like, you guys are known to be very important. In fact, everyone who wants to can give me a perception roll.
11.
11.
Perception. 4.
4.
6.
6.
Oh, that's right. I remember why I wasn't using D&D Bond, because it's lagging for some reason on my computer. Nope, take your time. It's totally okay. $25.
25. All right, Anu, you're the one to catch this. I imagine you probably, like, perch in the trees anyway, because you just kind of live in the heights, chandeliers and whatnot. And you can see over the wall of the castle to that garden that they had. You remember with the maze, the hedge maze and everything? That has since, because it was burned down, been sort of reconstructed, and the centerpiece of this maze now has statues of the 4 of you in the center, all
That's
striking
not
dynamic
uncomfortable
poses.
at all.
Oh my.
And so they ferry you across. Anyone who's willing to get in, they will ferry you across the river.
I jump in.
You jump in the river or in the boat?
In the boat.
Okay.
It's a very awkward, clunky, 0 athletic score jump.
I am going to prestidigitate myself dry and hope to have that done by the time they arrive.
Okay, yeah, super easy to do. It literally takes a snap of your fingers and you're good. The rest of you are ferried over, and you have your reunion with Angelique. She catches you up to speed, starts explaining to you that this is only the second week that they have finally been able to re-inhabit the newly repaired and reconstructed Grand Palace. So, and the Queen's makeup jubilee is supposed to be tonight, in fact. And that's why everyone's rushing goods in and why the entire palace is a bustle. And that is where we're going to cut away from all of you for a time. Because we're going to cut back into the wild itself. With Tempest. Tempest, you find yourself having been wandering in this part of the wild, in this dark, gnarled forest for a very long time. The trees are gray and thorny. The ground is this sort of blue-black with purple, what would look like magma or maybe lightning patterns, but you know is actually roots from tree systems. And
Sure.
you can see there's a bright sort of like just to the side.
Okay, you can go put it in the table. Thank you.
The side where you know there once was a cave system with an ominous temple to a very vile creature. And now it appears that there's a shining beacon, a light coming from the side. And when you look out, you can see 4 figures standing there. One of them jumps into a crystal blue river. The light is nearly blinding from what you're used to.
Well, that's interesting. It looks like someone did my job for me. But it's a way out. Let's go.
All right, and so you go. You see them all load up into this like raft boat, and they start ferrying across this river to a port built into a large cave in a mountainside. There seems to be like a civilization in this area, though it's immediately wooded. And it seems that there is a large, opulent palace beyond these stone walls that have these mosaics sort of like decorating along key pillars. Statuary of humans everywhere, some in armor, some wearing cloth holding books. This is gorgeous. And you step out into this bright, harsh sunlight, and you feel this cooling, crisp wind as you realize that the trees here have leaves in hues of red, orange, yellow. The cool air is fresh. It's not stale. It's not heavy. And you see people, humans, bustling everywhere. Among this particular group who have ferried, there is one elf and one fawn, and then 2 humans.
Well, I look around a little bit, and I just appeared before these 4 people.
So they have their backs turned to you at the moment because they're ferrying across. Any of you that want to can make a perception roll to see if you notice the figure step out of the tree line from where you just were.
That's a 19.
That's a 27.
9.
So I think
too excited about where we are.
I think Nim. Oh, you got what? I'm sorry.
13.
13. So Nim is just very excited, about something and is very distracted. But the rest of you will notice a figure step out from the tree line. This, like, the tree line itself is painted with the colors of autumn. But, Megan, would you like to describe your character for everyone?
My character is a 6'5", very elf-looking creature with pale skin and dark hair. She's dressed in a cloak made of like ribbons or something because the wind kind of blows them all in different directions. And she's got some kind of armor on. She is well muscled but not burly. That's about all you can see from her frame from there. Definitely elf-like, but tall.
I'm gonna glance at Anu. Friend of yours by any chance?
Man, I don't know every elf.
It's the only lead I had, so...
Maybe in a past life.
It's kind of my point. Like, you say you don't know every elf, go back far enough, you probably do.
Huh. Oh, I'm gonna get that 30, no doubt.
How far away are they?
They're about 20 feet away from you right now. They're just boarding onto this like stone dock that is built onto the side of a ridge. So it's just lined all the way out to where the river opens up into the lake.
Okay. Is there anything around me that would catch my attention besides these people?
You see that it seems that whoever is bustling around in the port is having some sort of affair, because there is a lot of like booze and food and all sorts of stuff. There's ribbon, there's like entire crates full of cloth. There's some sort of party or event or something going on.
And they're heading towards it?
They're heading toward it.
Oh, well, it's been forever. Okay, Tempest runs forward and tries to get on that same ferry.
Okay, so she's gonna make a jump?
Sure.
All right, that's a difficult athletics roll, but go for it. You need a 15 or better.
This will either be a very impressive or very inauspicious introduction.
Oh, it's gonna be inauspicious. All right. Yeah, it's not gonna go well. The gravity must be different on this planet, on this plane of existence.
Remember, you have inspiration.
No, I can fail. That's fine. Let's fail. Let's jump.
Nowhere to go but up.
Trip and fall flat on my face as soon as I start to run. Boom.
I respect this.
Okay. What did you roll? I'm curious.
3?
A 3?
Oh.
I mean, with my athletics or acrobatics, it's a 5.
Okay. So you run, and when you run, you realize that this plane does have different gravity from what you're used to, and there's that breeze that sort of whips up in a gale briefly, and you realize that the mountains make it very conducive to having like sudden bursts of wind. It catches your ribbon cloak, kind of flies in your face a little bit, and it looks kind of cool as you're twirling. You think you're going to make it, and then you just sploosh beside the boat.
I will lean over the edge of the boat and offer a hand.
I take that hand willingly, very, very happily take that hand.
Do you need a roll for me to help lift her into the boat?
Nope, you can just get her in.
Okay. So that's one way to get our attention.
I didn't want to be late. You understand, I can't be late ever. It's important.
Oh, well, where are you going?
I don't know, but I shouldn't be late.
Well, but that is a very good point.
Yes.
No further questions. And I just look around at everybody like.
I ring out my stuff and try to, recover as fast as possible with this and get all,
I'm gonna catch Nim's eye and just be like,
my character is carrying no weapons at all. As something that, no weapons at all.
Ooh, I am, but that's fine.
So, where are we going?
Well, just across the river. Did you?
Forgot we leveled.
Did you follow us from the wild?
I don't know that I'd say I followed you. I mean, I was going to go this direction anyway. This is a bright light. Of course I'm going to go in the right direction. You just happen to be this way.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I guess the answer is yes.
All
but
right,
I'm happy to be here. It's not the wild. It's been a long time.
This is lovely. I know why we were there. Why were you there?
It's a very long story. But, suffice it to say that I was doing some running. Much better running than what you just saw. But, in general, running, hiding, biding my time.
Suppose that's one thing to do.
Yes, but not hiding it. I'm not hiding anymore. Here I am, and everything seems fantastic. It's so bright here.
Did you get into a deal with a hag?
Huh?
I would call her a hag. Absolutely. I'd call her all manner of terrible things. I would definitely call her a hag.
Yeah,
But
been there, done that.
Well, welcome aboard. I'm Wisp.
Hello, Wisp. I'm Tempest. Well, not really, but that's the closest thing in your language that you can understand.
I put my hand out. I'm Nim.
Hello, Nim.
We're very excited to have you. We haven't had a new person on our team for a while. But we didn't know each other when we first met, and look at us now. We're just doing adventures, and so maybe I don't know. This is just an odd way to meet somebody on a boat, but if you are interested in it and other modes of transportation with us, maybe you could be with adventures and us too. And then I look over at Anu and Wisp and say, am I being awkward?
You're maybe a little forward.
No, okay.
Just pull it back, just a little, just a little.
Okay.
Were we yelled at by a child to not give her real names at first?
Yes, but that's a child who's not here right now.
There.
Is this a friend of all of yours?
Let's.
Are they here now? Are they on the other side of the river?
Yeah, they're here.
Let's go provisionally with maybe.
Nice to meet you, maybe friend. My name is Angelique. She, her.
Hello, Angelique. I am a Tempest of the Shadarkai.
Tempest. What an interesting name. And is the Shadarkai another language, or perhaps? She sort of looks at all of you a bit at a loss, but trying to maintain her poise. And Mask, you recognize that she's been wildly thrown off by this.
So, Stephen, my immediate question is, do I recognize that term given how high my scores are in Arcana and History?
You may make Arcana, History, or Religion. Pick one.
Let's go with Arcana. That's an 18.
18. So you know that there are tales of plains-walking elves that are spoken mostly in elvish circles, usually among the sun elves. And They talk about these elves that have been kissed by the wild, as it were, and it has changed some of their features. It has also caused them to be able to more comfortably sort of pass between worlds. And they usually bear omen of something important on a cosmic scale whenever they appear.
Because we haven't had enough of that.
You're just worried somebody else is going to choose you.
So Wisp is going to kind of have a moment. Oh, you're a planeswalker, aren't you?
That's a much better name than other people use for me.
Well,
and I'm definitely a friend. I start handed my hands out to people to shake hands.
Oh,
I'd
I
much
will
rather be a friend.
Shake it and like keep shaking it for an inappropriately long amount of time, like clowns do.
I prefer everyone to be my friends because foes is a terrible way to meet people. They all die.
Or you do eventually. Masquerade, Hive.
Hello, Masquerade.
I'm a new, and I high five instead of shake hands.
Tempest misses it first, but then gets your hand eventually.
So, will all of you be joining for the Emerald Jubilee?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
So, I feel I should prepare you, since you have been gone for some time. Have you been through the city at all yet?
No.
All right. We had an incursion about a year and a half ago. A massive swath of the walking corpses, the Umber Horde, I think you called them. They broke into the city. We thought certainly we were lost. They had taken a great many of our number. And then this massive green bird of fire appeared from nowhere, and it caused a giant burst of flames, and the city has yet to recover properly.
Did that at least, was that the last you've seen of the Umber Horde since then?
Yes, because the creature has made its roost in that area of the city.
Wait, so you're saying that there are... Are you saying that there are undead here in the city, just walking around?
Now they are mostly relegated to the sewers, and they seldom come out, but when they do, it is always in more than one.
Weren't there people in the sewers?
Yes, there were at one time.
Oh.
And I feel I should also prepare you. And she meets Anu's eyes. They struck in the slums. Your home is no more. You, of course, are welcome to stay here in the palace. I know that Queen Chanel would be more than accommodating. You are heroes. In fact, they erected a statue in your honor last year. There were lovely pastries. Giselle lit the fire. It was lovely.
Oh, she did. I'm so glad she's found her place.
Oh my god, that means Gisella's older too.
Giselle has been living with the innkeeper, Jacquard, at the pumpkin carriage.
We need to see her.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot to do, but if there is a party about to start, then one of these things is time sensitive.
Aye, you're right.
Well,
I don't know if I can party while there are undead around.
The undead will not be gone when the party is over. Know that. They have relegated themselves to the sewers. They only strike at night. We have discovered that the Umber Horde are apparently weak to sunlight. This was discovered about a year ago.
attracts. And Tempest, I'm not about to tell you how to go about whatever it is that you are on about, but if I may posit a suggestion, if you can't take the time to party, then maybe it's not much that you're fighting against the undead for in the first place.
Life goes on.
And it has been a long time since you've been to a party, correct? I mean...
Yes, I guess it has been quite a long time since I've been to a party. But at the same time... All right. I've been here 5 minutes. I don't need to dive into a sewer and kill an undead immediately. I should know if there's something more important to kill.
They will be there later. And at the moment, there is wine, and there is mead, and there are pastries.
And Angelique sort of lays this delicately manicured hand on yours, Tempest, and she says, "Dear, this is Voirais. Everyone should probably be killed in some fashion if they are attending this party. It is the land of masks and knives."
That's not a positive thing to say to me. Just
I have
for the
knives.
record, you might want to dial that back a bit.
What I mean to say is that not all daggers here are physical, and not all poison is meant to kill. Just be aware that here, what you say and do has weight.
Or is a nest of vipers.
I have taken you under advisement.
And
I like this one.
That being said, here, and she goes back and she goes to one of the crates and she pulls out this huge chunk of a loaf of bread. It's kind of long, but it's really just very thick. And she hands it to you and says, "Why don't all of you sample this to start? Your journey here must have been very taxing, and I do not know if I can persuade the kitchen to do anything other than make the hors d'oeuvres for tonight."
Down for bread, let's go. This is Angelique. I am not going to question that at all.
Tempest sits there and thinks really hard about all that poison stuff that was just talked about, and then free food.
Rest assured, if anyone is going to kill you, it is not going to be in private around here.
I wait for everybody else to eat a piece of bread, and then
Okay.
we'll eat a piece of bread.
I take a piece, but I also put some in my apron for later.
Of course. So you bite into it, and the crust is flaky and crunchy, and the bread is pillowy and soft. It's actually been sitting in the sun for a little bit, and while it's cool here, they must have had some sort of warming mechanism in the crate because it feels like it's fresh out of the oven. It's really nice.
Steven, I really need to start eating before we start playing D&D, dear God.
So I will take a bit of that. Is there an unattended bottle of wine within reach?
Aside from the one that was smashed, make an investigation roll.
12.
12. Okay. So you do see that they've taken most of the wine, but one of the sailors seems to have left a half-drunk bottle of something on one of the crates, and it is currently unattended.
I'm snatching that.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna
wash it real good.
I'm not even gonna sleight of hand it. I'm just grabbing that, and I will prestidigitate like the top of the bottle and.
Okay, so you take like one good swig. Make a Constitution save.
Ooh. Oh dear. What is that? That is. Oh, that's a 9.
So you take a swig, and it's like, and it like hits your throat in that way. It's like you drank acid, and you can't tell if you want to cough or barf or something in between. It is rough, but it is potent and it is strong. And that might be all you're looking for, I'm not sure.
It is at the moment like, well, I'm clearly out of practice. This must be remedied.
Is that alcohol?
I certainly hope so.
Oh yeah, it's alcohol. You're very familiar with alcohol, Wisp. It is alcohol.
No, I know that, Stephen, but that's still my answer to the query.
So at this point, you guys have a choice. You can choose to go into the city. You can explore the palace. You can basically go where you want. You are heroes of the city.
How much time before the party?
Do you check the sunrise, or do you ask someone?
I'll ask Angelique.
Okay.
She would know.
She will tell you you have about 8 hours until the party.
Oh, that is quite some time. I thought this was going to be much faster.
No.
In that case, that's plenty of time to go see Giselle.
Okay.
So yeah, how much time would that eat up going to the pumpkin carriage?
Probably a good hour just walking there and back, not counting the time you spend there.
Okay. Like I'm good to do that.
Mm-hmm. Nim really wants to see Giselle.
That is exactly why Masquerade suggested it.
All right.
Tempest, you're free to roam. If you want to follow, you can. It doesn't seem like you would know anyone else yet.
Might as well stay here until things go south. I mean, might as well spend some time with you, because you're such wonderful people.
You have a very pessimistic outlook, don't you?
Okay, but has there ever not been anything huge that's gone wrong ever in our entire lives?
No, but assuming that it is not is how I get to have fun in between the times that happens.
We do get into a lot of shit.
Well, yeah, considering our experience with the last Jubilee, I don't want to say, but I'm just saying.
Look, just keep it away from the chandeliers. It'll be fine.
Oh, come on.
You're never living that down.
You'll get used to us eventually.
Maybe I'll just shut the curtains on fire this time.
Well, that would be a new thing for you to try. You know, another thing for us to mention every time we walk into a nice building.
And then somebody will say it in front of Giselle, and Giselle will be upset that we don't let her set the curtains on fire. No, it's a terrible idea.
So all of you is everyone going to see Giselle, or are you breaking off to do other things?
No,
I'm going to Giselle.
Well, let me think. So when Angelique was saying where the bird had nested, was she specific enough that I know where that is?
Yeah, you know where the slums are at.
Okay.
Or where they were.
I kind of want to go there. I will tell everybody else, like, I'll meet up with you guys back at the party. I'll probably swing by and say hi to Jacquard and Giselle. I have something else I want to just take care of. Yeah, and I want to head and see what I can see with that.
Okay. Anu, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna dance around seeing if, while yes, the slums was attacked, if Sidon is still around.
Okay. So you're gonna go to the slums as well to search for this, or?
Well, in and around, just finding information on my way to the slums and in the slums.
Make an investigation roll.
Oh, that's ugly. Not too bad. 19? Okay, I did that math right.
All right.
Yeah.
So you run into an old friend of yours. Who is this friend? What race, class, etc.? Tell me about this friend.
Do we have dwarfs in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have stones in their for their eyes.
Okay. But they're still small, right?
Yeah. They just have like gemstone eyes, and they manifest stone somewhere on their body.
Okay. It's
Steve.
It's a lady. Oh, I was gonna say gnome. Jesus. Lady dwarf. And I've done a few missions with her. She's very sneaky for a dwarf.
Okay.
Dark skin, blonde hair braided.
Okay.
And heavy voice.
Okay.
But
What color is her stone? This is important. Sapphire. Okay. So
we got a fighter.
Yeah. So you see her, and what is her name?
Give me 1 second.
Hana. Okay. So you see this dark-skinned, blonde-haired dwarf lady. She sees you and waves. Oh, how are you doing?
I'm alive.
I see that. That's very impressive. I thought you were dead.
Really? Me?
Yes. Well, I held out a little bit of hope because I noticed that at least when everything went down and since, I haven't heard anything about a shade. So I knew you couldn't have fallen to the Umber Horde.
It's fair. But really, me never get out of trouble. How long have we known each other?
Well, it feels like it's been too long, honestly, since I've seen you.
Yeah. How long have I been gone?
Well, the last anyone heard of you was about 2 years ago and some. When you came home, and Sidon told me you left him with he was fighting the guard because they had raided the slums. And she just kind of pauses, and you see like these tears kind of falling from these blue pupilless eyes.
I take it he didn't make it.
She takes you by the hand. He turned with most of the others. Weirdly, the elves got out.
Dead.
They were warned by the settlers just outside the city. Apparently, they'd seen you, and they warned of these creatures that were taking people, and so they took to the road.
And no one else listened or told?
Well, I mean, frankly speaking, dear, you know how it goes for those of us without human blood in this city. People don't often listen to us until it's too late.
Yeah.
Can I get you something? Do you have a place to stay? I've managed to hold out a room for myself at a lovely little inn. It's not much, and it only has one bed, but of course, you know, I'm always happy to share, and you're welcome to stay with me.
What inn?
It's a little inn off the way. It's quite affordable. What is it called? The gourd? The wagon?
Pumpkin Inn.
Pumpkin carriage.
The pumpkin carriage.
Oh yes, that one. Yes, run by a nice portly fellow with the mustache. You know, the one that he always has twizzled and whatnot. And that little girl, the mage.
Giselle.
You know her then. Yeah, it was quite the scene when the Scriptoriad tried to take her and the Queen issued that edict and whatnot.
What about all the children that were with Giselle?
Oh. Them. Well, dear, those were taken by the Scriptoriad. You really haven't been around much, have you?
I just got back. Literally. Just appeared.
Well, they were taken by the Scriptoriad. And of course, because they have no will, they said they would freely go. Like they do. And so...
M's not gonna like this.
No, I can't imagine that she will, judging by what I've heard of her. She's the one with the apron and the pastries, right?
Yeah.
The angry one, when she's dangerous, she's angry?
I mean, I wouldn't want to get on her bad side.
Yes, I've heard of that one. But Whisper, you with Anu at this point?
It depends on whether her investigative path splintered her off from, because I'm beelining it pretty much. So if Anu broke off, I would not have followed.
Okay. So you guys actually sort of found this lady just on the fringe of the slums.
Okay.
And she was walking out of it, actually. She looks to you, Anu, and she says, well, dear, actually, let me show you. And she takes you around a building corner, and she's like, there. And you see this wall, this, like, broken bit of wall that, it was once a building, but it has since crumbled away, except for one side. And there's just paintings and flowers and candles and all sorts of things set up and laid around this wall, and there are names etched in chalk along the wall, some of them carved with knives, and it looks like this is some sort of memorial for all those who were lost in the incursion that took place. I was just refreshing the candles here.
Do I see Sidon's name?
You do. You know, I lit this one for him, but... And she, sort of licks her finger, snuffs the candle, and then offers you, tinder.
I take it.
Feels appropriate.
So there's a giant mess in the middle of the slums. You take me to it?
I certainly can. It's not incredibly safe, so it's good to have a guide. Just because things are still falling apart, it seems, every day. Anew.
Yeah. No, I have a friend headed that way, so...
Oh, is this your friend? Right here. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hana, she, her.
Wisp, anything. And I'm sorry we're not meeting under better circumstances.
Yes. Did you lose anyone in the incursion yourself?
Yes. In a way.
Well, here. And she holds out this knife that looks much nicer than she should own it. For you to do as you please with the wall. And she nods. It's a special stone carving knife.
I'm gonna hand it, I'm gonna decline it, shake my head and go, I prefer to remember in other ways.
Oh, of course. Were you headed into the heart of the Green District, as it's being called now?
Yes.
All right. Just know that you really shouldn't touch the gems.
Understood.
And she leads you. Question for Tempest. Are you with them or did you go to see Giselle?
I don't know. Did the group just split up at some point? Because
Yes.
I just would be following.
Yeah, they split. So 2 of them are going to an inn to visit a little girl who you have gathered has some sort of affinity for fire. And the others seem to be going to investigate what happened in the slums.
Oh, I'm going to see what happened in the slums because that's where the undead are, right?
Yes, primarily.
Oh, yes. That direction then.
Okay, so Hana would have introduced herself to you as well. And if the 3 of you will come with me.
Quick question.
Uh-huh.
How tall are elves typically? And is my 6'5" elf really weird?
So elves actually range from like normal human heights to just a little taller than humans in this world. Okay. So you don't stick out too much.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah, remember, aren't I like 6 foot?
Yeah, you're like 6 foot.
Okay.
So you guys...
I'm the tiny one around here.
That's true, you are. You guys are led through this labyrinthine street, and you see these just charred stone buildings. They're decimated. You see skeletons whose clothing and flesh has long since been blasted away by something. And you also see these huge, like 10 to 20 foot tall crystal clusters just jutting up from the ground at key points. They are green. And they tend to get denser and more plentiful and even block pathways at times as you get closer to the center of this area. Actually, if you would like, Tempest, make an Arcana, History, or Religion check.
Okay. Let's see. That's, yeah. Arcana is going to be my best one. And 13. All right. You've heard of what goes on in this plane in relation to corrupting of mana. So mana in this world is a resource. It is crystallized magic essence. It is poison for those who don't have it to touch. Anyone who does have magic is immediately jettisoned into the wild when they touch it. So it's a very potent substance. It can be harvested and worked by special smiths, most notably those who have no longer any sort of connection to magic or certain mental faculties. You also know that depending on the color of the mana, it sort of showcases what force has influenced it. Naturally, it's just blue, but this here is green. So you don't know exactly what that means, but you know that it's changed somehow. Okay. As the 3 of you do that and head further in, Masquerade and Nim, you find yourselves at the pumpkin carriage, a familiar sight. It's actually built up a little bit and has more floors than it previously had. It looks like Jacquard also purchased a couple buildings down the block and has converted those into additions for his inn.
Well, this place looks real fancy now. This is great.
Good to see him succeeding.
It is, especially considering how we last saw him.
You walk in the door and you see a sign that directs refugees to head further back and into the rooms in the back. It instructs the meal times for the free meals for those who have been unhomed by the incursion. And as you walk through the door, you see a familiar, ruddy, portly man with that ever-present giant mustache and his adult daughter playing a lute, half drunken, in the corner.
Good man, Jacquard. We should have figured that you'd be helping people.
Well, of course. How could I not? Hold on. What happened to you? You've been gone for a very long time.
What didn't happen?
That too. We ended up in the elsewhere.
Oh, I see.
It hasn't been that long for us.
I don't understand, but I will take your word for it. She was just here too, and I don't know where she ran off to. Giselle! And he starts calling into the inn, and after a few minutes, you hear a familiar, though a little bit deeper and older voice from up the stairs run around that balcony area and come to the top of the stairway, and you see, wearing a set of blue pants, a shirt with a vest, and she's got this little necklace dangling that's just got like a little heart on it. You see Giselle, and she looks down, she's like, "It's Masquerade and Nim!" Yeah, and she like blasts off. He's like, "Not on the stairs!" And she singes the wood on the stairs as this blue fire jettisons from her palms, blasting her like a rocket all the way up and down the stairway. And she lands, does a little flip, and then does like a ta-da pose and bows in front of Masquerade.
You have gotten so impressive.
You must have been practicing.
I was. Also, I can control it now. And she holds out her hand, and this like jet of blue fire just kind of sits there over her palm.
That's fantastic. How old are you now? Oh my goodness, we've missed so much time.
13.
That's...
Excuse me a moment.
Oh, goodness. Oh my. We've been gone a lot longer than I thought. Okay.
Where's Anu? Where's Wisp?
Oh, they're fine. They just went to go check something out. Make sure that it was still standing.
I see.
They'll be by.
Right. Of course they're going to be by. Why wouldn't they be by?
They will.
And she kind of looks a little hesitant, and she kind of like looks at you, Nim, and then casts her eyes down. They went to the scriptoriad, you know.
I didn't know. I thought that might happen. I'm so sorry.
They wanted to take me, but it spurred this whole thing, and then the queen, she made this edict that said that you couldn't be taken to the scriptoriad unwillingly before 15, but of course they asked them, and they said yes, and they didn't know better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awful. Well, I mean, do we know if they're still there? There's never a lost cause, you know? As long as you keep hoping, you know, maybe there's some more work we can still do.
Right. Of course. We can absolutely do that. I want you to know that they at least told me at the scriptoriad that Mr. Ben is still alive.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They wouldn't tell me where, though, because I wouldn't come with them.
Mm-hmm. Well...
Okay. They wouldn't, would they?
No.
Really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. About a lot of things, honestly. I feel like I've learned so much, and it feels like the more I learn, the less I know, and it's...
Well, it just sounds like you're growing up. That's the way it is. We have no idea.
Yeah. That sounds about right. But anyway, one thing I do know that I must do, now that I know that the others are with you, I must make a chocolate cake.
Oh, you learned how to make it yourself?
I learned how to make a chocolate cake for myself, and I can make the frosting from scratch. I will bake it with my own fire.
That is incredibly impressive. I don't think I could do that.
I am going to go and start on that. Just wait here, get some drinks, and I'll bring it out when it's done.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she scurries away into the kitchen, and you see Jacquard like almost like half storm after her toward the door, and he's like, apron, do not touch those until you've washed your hands.
She's so tall now.
And that's where we're gonna cut that. Back to the green district. The three of you finally crest the rubble of a building where you see in the middle of this blast radius is a bird nest made out of crystal strands of green. And you see this bird just roosting there. Quiet, contemplative, yet alert. Definitely alert. And even though its head does not move, its eye turns when the three of you approach. It is very aware of your presence. This creature has these like glittering green feathers, and there's like little bits of green fire just licking off here and there, but it's not fully aflame right now. The area here is hot, like blazingly hot. And it smells almost like peppermint. Peppermint and smoke.
So, is this common around here?
No. No, this is something special.
Oh joy, special. Why do I always get the special ones?
You're free to leave.
Of course I'm not. Of course I'm not. You think it's evil? It's probably evil, right? No, it's not evil.
Wisp, make a perception check. I know you love those.
16.
16. You notice under one of the wings, it seems like the wing is actually extended out just a little bit, and there seems to be some sort of like licking rainbow light coming from underneath. And the bird looks down at that area, and it almost looks like it's having some sort of conversation, if there could be such a thing, in its mind, before you see it lift the wing, and there you see a familiar but much larger rainbow bird whose feathers also lick this chromatic fire. And you hear in your head, what's going on out there? I feel you very intensely emotional all of a sudden.
I will fill you in later, Charlie. Not a good time.
All right. And you feel that presence just kind of back out of your mind. And you see the bird, you hear it squawk, and the squawk sounds more mature. It's not just a cheep anymore. And it kind of glides over, and there's like a wave of hot air coming towards you as the creature alights and just descends and sort of perches in front of you and tilts its head. And there's a knowledge there. A familiarity. And it kind of brushes its head against your leg.
I'm going to kneel down next to it and offer a hand, palm up.
All right. This bird is about 3 feet tall, for your reference, Tempest. The green bird is about 20 feet tall, so it's much, much larger. But the little one is about 3 feet tall, and it just meets your hand, almost like a cat, you know, when they nudge against your hand and want that connection. And,
well, I've been told that these beings are not evil, so I'm just gonna chill.
And you feel, Wisp, in your mind a new presence asking this time, not imposing, just asking. It wants in. It wants to communicate, but it's not going to intrude.
I will mentally invite it.
And you hear the voice. It almost sounds like a child at this point, like a young child. It says, "You came back.
I did.
I knew you'd come back."
Then you knew better than I did.
And you brought new people.
I did. A lot has gone on, and yet I haven't experienced as much time as I've been gone for.
That sounds hard.
Yeah. You seem so well.
I am. I've learned more about what I can do, and me and she, and it looks up to the green bird. We have been guarding this place from the ones that creep at night.
Thank you.
I wanted to do it because I remembered when we were together, when we were the same. And I felt that longing for other people and for the creatures that think, even if they're small. And I wanted to do like what you do.
You seem to be doing amazing work.
Are you proud of me then?
Yes. I am very proud of you to have ever have been a part of what you are now.
You helped me to learn what I needed to and to be what I needed to until I could do this. You are special, even if you don't want people to think that.
You know, I can't argue with you because you were in here too much and too long for me to ever pretend you're not right.
You should let yourself be proud of you too.
I'll try.
And you just see this like intense look, like it's not going to say anymore, but it's not going to back down from its words, and it wants to leave that where it was. And then the bird looks over at Anu and at Tempest. And Tempest, you feel almost like a cloying question in the back of your mind. It's not words, it's a request for permission.
Sure.
You're...
I fiddle with the ring on my finger, and then I say yes.
You hear a child's voice in your head say, "You're one of the ones that she talked about."
I am someone, that's true. I can't fly here, but we just met. But it's good to meet you too.
You walk the worlds.
One or two. It's not a lot, really. It's fine. Lots of people do it.
You know it's okay to find a home to settle in.
Sure, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Lots to do, though. So much to do. Someday, maybe.
Do you have a nest?
Not in a very long time.
Oh. That one's good. And they kind of look over at Wisp, and then at Anu. That one too. There's more of them. They can be dangerous, but they're nice. And that's all it says to you. And
thank you.
The bird just kind of like chirps, and then it flutters back over underneath the wing of the green creature. Anu, you have not been approached by the bird, but do you want to do anything or interact at all?
I'm just gonna put a hand on Wisp shoulder. You good?
You're muted.
It was...
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you are absolutely right. No evil here whatsoever. I don't think I've ever been in a place with less evil.
Give it a minute.
Okay, I suppose why don't we? I'm gonna head over to the pumpkin carriage. If you still want to check out around here, that's fine. I'm gonna and like Wisp is kind of like head down, sort of not looking anybody in the eye, and just starts heading back out.
All right. So right around the time that Wisp arrives, Anu and Tempest, are you following immediately behind, or are you kind of trailing for somewhere else or something else?
Anu, is there someplace else we should be, or should we follow Wisp?
Oh, I got the information I came for. Did you get the information you came for, or are you willing to wait?
I'll just follow wherever you go. For some reason, that seems like where fate should take me.
I'm following Wisp.
All right. So the three of you arrive at this inn, and for context, it is 4 stories tall and seems to have also eaten up 2 other buildings that are adjacent to it further down the block in this very nice city down this cobblestone boulevard. And you can see that it has, just as the sign, it looks like a Cinderella carriage, basically. It's a pumpkin that's been made into a carriage. And that is the way that people identify this particular inn and tavern. You enter, and immediately you're in this big common room with tables and chairs seating. There's a big hearth. There's a stage area with this woman sort of plucking on a lute. She looks half drunk, half asleep. You see a man. He's portly, but also kind of built. He's got a long mustache that has been waxed into a curl, and you see 2 familiar individuals sitting at one of the tables, and a 13-year-old girl that Anu and Wisp would recognize flounces from the kitchen, looks at the 2 of you, nearly drops her cake, and then catches it, and she sets it down and then runs over with a squee and immediately gives both of you a big hug.
Hug her right back.
Should they be around?
And you got here just in time for a chocolate cake that I made myself from scratch. And you see she has like chocolate smears on her face. There's like just flour everywhere. She's got she's clearly tried to fix herself up, but in the process has gotten chocolate in her hair. It is a mess.
Of course we came. Did you think we were going to skip you?
Well, when only the 2 of them came, I thought that maybe you were off doing other important things. I mean, you're heroes now, and right? Like, you have a statue, and you might need to go and inspect the statue and make sure that it's solid.
It's on my to-do list, but I did have something I just needed to check out, but I was not ever going to miss seeing you again.
Oh, well, thank you. Who's... And she kind of looks to Tempest and then looks at the four of you. Can I help you, ma'am? And she's kind of like questioning and...
I'm just here with them. It's fine.
I know them. I don't know you. I'm Giselle.
Hello, Giselle. I'm Tempest. Nice to meet you.
You hear Jacquard from behind the counter just kind of like he's clearing his throat a little extra loud. And she goes, all right, she, her. And then does like a formal curtsy.
You're part of the she-her clan?
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's fascinating.
She's new to this plane of existence. We're sorting this out.
Oh, are you a fairy? Can you do fairy things? Can you grant wishes? For my first wish,
only
I
one
want
kind.
A giant bin of chocolate.
I'm sorry. What is a chocolate?
While Giselle is dealing with Tempest, I'm gonna pivot over to Jacquard.
And he kind of like, just does that little like sniffly bit where he adjusts his mustache without touching it, and then he grabs a bottle of a very strong but good wine and sets it down. He's like, I already know.
I love you. I really do.
And he just hands it over. He's like, do you want a stein with that or no?
No need to dirty one.
All right. And meanwhile, Giselle is demanding more wishes from you, Tempest. She has now demanded a second bin of chocolate for her rabbit that is apparently a pet rabbit that's bigger than every other pet rabbit at the festival this year. And the pet rabbit's name is Mr. Fluffkins. And
probably shouldn't be feeding your rabbit chocolate, dear.
Oh, well, that's very sad. How is he supposed to enjoy it?
I'm sure Mr. Flumpkins enjoys it quite a bit.
We don't feed the rabbit chocolate. I have told you this already, Giselle. The rabbit gets what? And she just kind of sighs and rolls her eyes, goes, carrots. And he's like, and she's like, lettuce. And he's like, and what does it not get? And she pouts and goes, chocolate.
Carrots and lettuce. I understood those words.
Well, can you instead give me a giant bin of carrots and a giant bin of lettuce? Since we are now granting the wishes for the bunny without chocolate. I could have wished that the bunny could eat chocolate.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
But I don't particularly grant wishes.
Well, why not? You're a fairy. It's what you do. Also, where are your wings? You're a very bad fairy if you don't have wings.
I'm absolutely a terrible fairy. I mean, I make a bad fairy. But I will give you a whole bucket full of carrots if you would like that.
I would like a bucket of carrots. No, I want you to make the rabbit able to eat chocolate and then just give me the 2 bins of chocolate. Then I can eat it too.
I'll work on that. As soon as I found out what the chocolate is.
Oh, it's like, hold on. And she runs into the kitchen, and you see Jacquard run after her, like, no, you need to wear protective gloves or wash your hands.
So that was Giselle.
She's always been a little chaotic, but she's a child.
She reminds me of my little sister.
Me too.
She's very sweet. So, what is this chocolate stuff?
She did.
Oh, that wasn't a joke. I will come over and physically steer you into a chair. Just wait for it. And then I peel back and stand next to wherever Nim is standing.
In a couple minutes, Giselle comes back with like this bar of like shiny brown solid, and she just places it down before you. It's about the size of your thumb, and she's like, a chocolate.
Okay.
You eat it.
Tempest picks it up and smells it a little bit.
It is sweet.
And takes a bite.
It is bitter. It is creamy. It's silky. And it melts in your mouth.
Oh, did you get dark chocolate first? You gotta ease them in.
Oh no, she absolutely got you dark chocolate because it's her favorite.
That is that is delightful. I've never had anything like it. It's chocolate?
Yes, chocolate.
Well, I'll have to remember that I like chocolate.
That reminds me, and she sort of gestures to the cake in a very grandiose way. I made this by myself from scratch. I lit the fire, and she holds out her hand and produces this blue flame, and Jacquard's like, not in the building.
Hey, Giselle,
she will
I need you to teach me some of your tricks later on. No reason, just curious.
Oh, absolutely. Here, and she doles out the cake to all of you, so you have a piece of cake that you can eat.
Nim enthusiastically takes a bite, and regardless of how she interprets the flavor, she is just overacting. This is fantastic. It is the best. You are such a diligent, hard worker, and I appreciate this cake. It is amazing. You did such a good job, and everyone is going to love it.
So, in truth, it's the most mediocre cake you've ever had in your life. But...
however, it is a chocolate cake, and we have been gone for quite some time from our own points of view. It's been a while since we've had chocolate cake. I am too busy eating this to comment on it.
Oh yeah. It's like when you've been on a long road trip and you see the gas station and you know you shouldn't buy the ho-hos, but then you see them and you buy them anyway, and they're old and they're a little bit stale, but it's still really good.
Yes.
And so anyone who eats the chocolate cake gets a point of inspiration.
Ooh.
As you feel inspired.
I can honestly say that this is the best chocolate cake I have ever had.
See, Giselle, you did fantastic.
Yep, I'll happily take that. I don't want to be drinking on an empty stomach.
And how much do you drink, Wisp? Because you do have a party coming up.
Does that mean she should be drinking more or less?
Depends on what kind of party. So I am aiming right now for a light buzz, so I would say about a quarter of the bottle and saving the rest.
Okay. All right, that's pretty easy to do. And as you do that as well, you see that a footman enters the building, scans the area just a bit, and then approaches your table with intent.
Oh, here we go.
Hello, my name is Duke. I'm trying to think. You know what? Actually, Marissa, give me a name.
Ellsworth.
My name is Duke Ellsworth, and I am here to entertain you. And he seems a little bit unsure. And then he looks over at Wisp and he's like, I heard you are the entertainer. How am I doing? I'm trying to get the gig at the entertaining job, but clearly it's not working very well. They aren't going to let me perform tonight, but I'm trying.
Well, I'm not the resident entertainer at this particular establishment at the moment. That having been said, generally going up to each individual table is something that you reserve for after you've built a little bit of a rep, as opposed to before, because then it seems desperate.
Oh, well, I am a little bit desperate, but Lady Angelique told me I was not ready. My name is Yusin. I was sent here to inform you of the dress code for the evening. Because it is in celebration of the conquering of the Umber Horde and the incursion by the Jade Phoenix that now inhabits our fair city, the Queen has redubbed this Jubilee the Emerald Jubilee. So tonight's theme color is set to be green. Gold accents are allowed. Black and white, of course, are permissible. Silver is discouraged.
And are you or the Queen aware that we haven't been around for a while and we do not have a wardrobe handy?
Ah, yes. So that is why I was sent. I am to give you these. And he hands each of you, it's actually a card. It's about the size of, like, I don't have anything else. I have a Digimon card. It's like the size of this. But it is...
That's very on brand.
Metal. Yeah, I know. It's metal, and it has a carving. It says, Voucher of the Crown. And he looks at you and says, this will allow you to go into any clothier for the day and get whatever you need for tonight.
Is he holding up just one for, like, the group, or...?
Each of you gets one. He also hands one to Tempest and says, Lady Angelique also instructed me that you were with them.
I'm flattered, really. News must travel fast here.
Only the fastest in Voirais.
Well, thank you.
And he then bows, looks around the room, and he tries to do a backflip out the door. And he rolled a natural 3. He has a -1, so that makes it a 2. So he starts to flip, stumbles, falls backwards, and nearly crashes into the door itself.
Tempest rushes over to try to pick him up and says, don't worry, it happens to everyone. It happens to all of us. It's completely normal.
It never happens to me.
I'm just going to kind of call out, know your limitations. There's a tip.
Thank you. Lord, Lady, Fair Wisp, what is the appropriate title for you? And then he's like, never mind. And he just leaves.
I feel like you take deep, visceral joy in confusing people like that.
Yes.
As well you should.
So, you guys have about 4 hours at this point to go and build yourselves a wardrobe. So, anyone who wants to, we'll start at MARISA and just pass it like we do for recaps. Describe what your character is wearing for this fancy ball.
Shopping montage!
Real quick before I explain it, so the colors were black and gold, but silver was discouraged, correct?
Silver is discouraged, black, gold, and white and green. Green is the theme color.
Oh, okay. So Nim absolutely loves green, so she gets a green velvet gown with gold kind of embroidery around the neck, but also around the sleeves and just kind of around the hem of the skirt. She of course has to wear an apron as well, so she has like a gold apron that goes over it because she cannot be without her snacks. But it's like a very nice fancy like velvet apron as well. So that is what she is going to be wearing. And because Nim, does not get fineries very often, anytime she catches her reflection in a mirror or water or anything, she just stops and stares. So.
Okay. Who are you passing it to?
I'm going to pass it to Wisp.
So Wisp is going with actually like a few more layers than is kind of typical. So normally it's just sort of the vest and the sort of the gapped skirt. So this is going to have a vest, but so it's going to be a primarily gold vest with sort of green accents on it, but then that is over long draped flowing sleeves, and that is the emerald green. So that sort of goes down actually a little bit past, so like the fingers show but not the whole hand, and that complements a emerald green skirt that's similar to what Wisp normally wears, has the gaps that the legs can come out completely fairly easily. There is a slight train behind it. It is very easily hitched up in the back to get out of the way. And there is now a slightly gaudy gold chain connecting the two horns in the back of their head.
Okay. Who are you passing it to?
Let's give it to Anu.
Okay. I'm wearing an emerald pantsuit with a deep V-neck in the jacket that I don't have one button, and a clean, crisp white shirt underneath. And the pants flare out just a little bit from my ankles, and of course, gotta keep my boots on.
All right, who are you passing it to?
Who hasn't gotten dressed yet?
Robin and Megan.
I'm gonna give it to Megan.
Tempest has a very hard time at first looking at all this. She's very, I don't know. But then she tries on a dress. It's a very typical, like ball gown kind of thing. It's green. Her eyes are actually, as she's getting changed, y'all realize her eyes are purple. And she's rocking this. Like that cloak covered everything. This girl's got it going on, right? And yes, it's a long ball gown, green, some gold accents. She can't hide the silverishness of her skin at all because it is slightly gray and I don't want to say pasty, but ashen, as all Shadarkai are. Yeah, she just kind of is very awkward walking around in this, but she does it. Also, she would be like, so, where should I keep my armor?
And Jacquard has accompanied you because Giselle wanted to watch you try on the pretty dresses and has been occasionally tugging at Nim's skirt, trying to get her to buy her something. And Jacquard looks at you and says, you are welcome to keep any of your possessions that you need in my supply room, which I lock, or you may have a room for yourself at the pumpkin carriage.
Locking them up here is fine.
Very well. And so he will lock those up in his storeroom whenever you get back to the pumpkin carriage. So, Robin, I guess that's just, you're the one that's left. So what is Masquerade wearing?
That's okay. Waiting this time gave me time to think about it. I am very excited about this outfit. So it's like a green brocade vest with this black silk ruffled shirt beneath it and like ruffly collared. And the buttons of the vest are gold, and it's got one of those like pointed hats with the feathers in it, and the hat is green and the feathers are like black but with like gold stripes threaded through them. And so a pair of simple black slacks, shoes with a slight riding heel, a fine black coat with a green lining and cufflinks that comes just short of brushing the ground when Mask walks, and to complete the outfit, just a plain black domino.
Okay. And as you get done trying on this outfit and showing it off, the designer, this human woman with dark features, golden brown eyes, and just this like curtain of ropes of hair, she looks at you, brushes a section of hair back, and then nods approvingly. That suits you Perfect. And all of a sudden you hear this crash, and a rock flies through the glass windows of this place. And you hear two horses start galloping away down the street, the cobblestone pathway. And on the rock, there's a note tied to it that said, "Get out of the city, mages."
Oh.
So how fast are they
That
going?
was a mistake.
How fast is that? Because I would love to Misty Step onto that carriage.
Their horses have a speed of 60 feet. So they are probably, we'll say 40 feet, because they had to like go and throw the rock, and then it's your turn to act. In fact, let's just do initiative real quick, so that way we get a semblance of order going on here.
That's everybody rolling?
Yep, everybody roll your initiative, and I will roll
16.
initiative for them as well, based on the horses. Well, that is not a great initiative. I think they're going last.
16.
16 and 16.
14.
So I heard 2 16s. Wisp, what is your modifier?
+4.
And what is your modifier, Masquerade?
Only +3.
Okay, so Masquerade. And then I heard Tempest got 14. What did Anu get?
18.
Yep, that's not a surprise there. What did Nim get?
5.
Okay, so Nim is going just before the Horseman Bigots, which is what I have them listed as. Anu, you're up. These two men riding horses, both of them look pretty well built, actually. They are both also wearing leather armor, and they have swords dangling from their hips.
And they're on horseback?
Yep, they're on horseback.
Is it possible for me to jump on one of their horses?
What's your speed?
My speed is 35.
So you would have to dash, but I will let you do that if you want to, but you have to make an acrobatics check.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that.
All right, your difficulty is going to be kind of hard because they're going to try to push you off when you try to mount the horse with them.
Okay.
So we're going to go with 16 for the difficulty there.
Can I add my bonus plus my proficiency?
If you are trained in acrobatics. Are you proficient in acrobatics?
The red dot is in there, but it's not circled.
Okay, yeah, so that means it's just your bonus plus your proficiency.
Okay. So what happens if it's a double dot?
That means you have expertise in it. You're adding your proficiency bonus twice because you have expertise.
Oh, yeah, that's broken.
Yeah. Rogues, I tell you.
They get things done.
Rogues, man, that's what they do.
I got a 20, a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right, so you succeed, and you are now atop this horse. You see the rider is going, "What? No, get off!" And he's like trying unsuccessfully to try to shove you off.
Am I still going?
So that was your action and your movement, so you have a bonus action.
I'm gonna put my arms underneath his arms, like right at his pit, and lock, and then let my weight fall backwards.
Okay. Oh wait, you could have dashed as your bonus because you're a rogue. So actually, this could be your action. Yeah, go for it. So you're gonna make a grapple check. That's athletics for you, versus he's gonna choose athletics because he's better at athletics.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see what I have to beat.
You got a 16.
I got a 21.
Okay, so you lock your arms. He's like, "What? What are you doing?" And you lean backwards, and now I need one more acrobatics roll for you to not take damage as you fall off the horse.
Okay. Wait. Oh, why am I adding like that? I got a 17.
17. Okay, you succeed. So you pull him back. Are you trying to hold on to him?
Yes.
Okay, so you succeed either way. I just want to know if you're still holding on to him. So you've got him now, kind of pinned, and he starts shouting, "I'm being oppressed! I'm being oppressed!"
Bloody peasant!
And Wisp, you're up.
Okay, so Anu yanked one of them off the horse. So the other guy is still mounted.
Uh-huh.
And so it's him, his horse, and one unoccupied horse.
Correct.
Yes. And how far away are they now from Anu?
Still about 40. Well, so they're 40 feet away from you.
Yeah, no. How far away are they from Anu?
Anu is like right there. Like, so she's
So here's why I'm asking. I want to cast confusion on the guy still on the horse, and it will also impact the horses. I just want to know if I can do it at a focal point that will include them, but not hit Anu.
I'm going to say because Anu is grappling one of them, you either have to pick just the guy on the horse or you're going to get Anu with you.
Well, I mean, the way confusion works is it's a 10-foot radius sphere. So it's not targeted at a specific person.
So, okay, so technically, I'm going to say you're good enough with magic at this point. You're 11th level. You know how to aim your magic in a way to control it and do something like that.
Okay, so that means that it's gonna hit the guy on the horse, and I mean, you can decide if it affects the horses or not. It should, to my understanding of the spell. But yeah, so I'm gonna cast confusion on them.
Okay, so I need to look up what confusion does on D&D Beyond, so I know what I'm doing.
It won't come up till it gets to their turn, but yeah.
Okay, so I need to roll a saving throw, right?
I don't think so. Hang on. No. What happens is that at the start of their turns, they roll a d10, and depending on what they roll, it determines what happens to them. Either they move in a random direction, they freeze up and can't move at all and take no actions, they make melee attack against whatever is closest to them, or if they get a 9 or a 10, it doesn't. It does nothing to them. And actually, yes. So we do need a wisdom saving throw to see if this hits them properly or not.
Okay, so one horse failed with a natural 1.
Yep.
The mounted horse got a 7, which I'm pretty sure will not succeed.
Will not, nope.
He also got a 7. Okay, so, and the guy being held by Anu got a 4. So everyone is affected.
You know how long I've had this spell and have not been able to use it?
Oh my gosh, it is 4th level, so you've had it for a minute.
Yeah!
All right, so, yeah. So the horses are starting to like buck and shake their heads around. How does this spell look when you do it?
So it's sort of like rainbow little effects off the tip of my fingers, and then I do this, and there's sort of like, it's super brief to the eye of anyone else looking, but it's almost like little tiny rainbow fireworks around their heads real quick.
Okay. All right. So you see his tiny little rainbow fireworks, and then the horses just start shaking their heads around. And Masquerade, you're up.
I'm coming up behind Wisp, going to extend my fingers and upcast Sleep at 4th level.
Okay.
So that is going to be 11d8 for the hit points of creatures that fall asleep, at a total of 61.
That's a lot of hit dice.
Yeah.
Anu, how many hit points do you have?
80.
Okay, you're good. So,
yes. Okay.
The rest
It's
of them-
within the range, so that is indeed how that works.
So one of the horses just drops and skids as it's going. The other horse also drops, and the rider drops as well, and the horse rolls on top of him, pinning him as he's now asleep under it.
I have defense against magical sleep.
Oh, good. You are not asleep anyway because you have way too many hit points. And the man in your arms just goes limp.
I've had a few partners like this.
And Tempest, it's your turn at this point.
I would like to run, and then my attempt is going to be to Misty Step onto the horse. But is there actually a horse and a rider still?
No, they're
left?
all asleep.
They're all asleep?
Yep.
That's what I thought. I didn't know they would all fall asleep, so I'll continue with my action would have been. And so I run, straight at the wall, and then I disappear, and then I appear on the other side of the wall near the riders, and I'm all translucent.
Okay. So you're now out here, and that puts.
And there's nothing to do.
Yep. Nim, what are you doing?
Nim can see that everybody has basically been taken care of, but is going to hustle her way over there to be of assistance if she can, or to just give them a stern talking to about their biases and how this sort of prejudice is not okay.
Okay. And as you approach, you see that you know what? I'm gonna make him roll for this. Oh dear, that was one shy of a crit though. So you see a small crowd start forming, looking at what's happened in the street, and you hear anyone with a passive perception better than 12 can hear the crowd murmuring about mages attacking people in the streets now. Aren't those the heroes of Voirais? But look, they just attacked those innocents. Didn't you hear? They were accosting them.
I think we might have a problem.
We also have a very clearly broken window that people are going to be able to look at and see.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go, yeah, clearly they're innocent. It's not like they ruined our friend's inn or anything.
Nim.
I'm good.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nim.
Nim, just make an insight check or investigation real quick. What were you going to do, Tempest?
I was going to try to convince people, in fact, that we had been attacked.
Okay. How are you doing that? You just going to talk to them, like address the crowd?
Yeah, let me real quick. Let's see. Do I have anything that'll be... No, I don't. So I'm just going to use my my persuasion, and I'm going to stand up and say, did you not see these men? They attacked us. They threw a rock, of all things, a dirty rock through that window to tell us that we don't belong here. Who would be so cruel as to do such a thing and run like cowards?
Make a persuasion check.
Come on.
And
9 plus 6.
15. Okay. So Nim, you see that some of the crowd starts murmuring about, isn't that an elf? I've never seen an elf like that before. What's an elf doing in the city? They aren't allowed in the city still, are they? And they see there's 2 of them. And you also hear another person in the crowd start saying, let them be their people. And pretty soon the crowd starts fighting amongst themselves.
I didn't need a chandelier this time.
And you were persuasive enough. Oh, goodness. All of a sudden, you hear someone from in the crowd scream, stop trying to target us when we don't do anything! And an explosion of fire engulfs part of the crowd. As you hear that voice just ring on an echo. And you see Giselle jump toward that. And you see she extends her hand, and when she does, she pulls the fire toward her. and there's like a whole swath of people on the ground, but the fire doesn't catch anything and instead goes into her arm. You see, as the fire goes into her arm, her skin starts blackening, and she screams in pain, falls to the ground, and it looks like she's been severely burnt. But the fire hasn't caught anything.
Tempest runs over to her.
Steven does, I mean, like, obviously she's burnt. Does she look like she is, like, trying to keep that fire that she just absorbed inside, or now that she's taken it in, does it seem like it's contained?
It looks like it's contained, but she hurt herself to do it.
Okay.
And you see that there are people who are singed on the ground. You see this young woman, maybe about 20 years old, just like huffing and puffing and staring, looking around with wide eyes, and she starts tearing up, and she's like, I didn't mean. And soldiers start running towards the crowd.
I'll go to her.
I was gonna say, I'm putting myself between her and them.
Mm-hmm.
Tempest reaches down and takes her and says, I know it's not a bucket of carrots, but hopefully this will do. And I use lay on hands.
Okay.
And I give her like 10 hit points back. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. You do that, and you see her arm that was blackened and singed and severely burned lightens up to what would be maybe more like a first or maybe very light second degree burn. So it's better. It's not. Okay. It's not terrible. It's not fully better, but it's better than it would have been. And she looks up at you. Thank you.
There's lots of other people to heal. I'll be back. Don't eat any. Well, I mean, eat fire if you have to, but don't. And I run to somebody else who's injured.
Okay, so you start tending the crowd. You see people start like crawling away from you in fear as you try to come and help them. So would you insist, or would you go on to the next person?
I would attempt to persuade them that everything's going to be okay. This wasn't us.
All right,
this wasn't us. I'm supposed to be persuasive. Oh, that's a 3 plus 6 is 9.
They seem too terrified of you right now, and they start screaming, "Get back, elf! Get back!"
I'm not an elf. Ugh. That hurts.
Let's see.
You could at least insult me about what I am. All right. Well, I back off anybody who doesn't.
Okay. A couple people will take it gratefully, but they seem to be the exception. And you see the woman looking around. She's got tears welling in her eyes. She's still angry. She's still escalated. And you see her like entire forearms of each hand catch with fire again, and the air starts rippling with heat around her.
Now.
Do I have it? I might have it. I might have to be really mean here. And
can I absorb?
No, I do not have counterspell.
I have absorb elements. Can I do that?
You can do that if you're hit by it. She screams and waves her arms. Get back! Get back! And when she waves her arms, fire starts kind of flinging off like fire bolts from either direction. And she's like, I didn't mean that. I didn't. And you see a tree off in the distance catches fire, and a shrub nearby catches fire.
Can I sleep her?
You can certainly try.
Just to get her to calm down. Either that, or you're gonna get knocked out physically. All right. I have sleep. Wait, I can't target with sleep, can I?
You can choose who you're targeting first.
I would target her.
Okay. Go ahead and roll how many dice?
It's just a spell slot.
Yep, so you just roll the number of dice, and that's how many hit points worth.
Oh, where is that at?
I want to say it starts at like 48 or something.
Yeah, because mine's isn't saying what dice it takes.
5d8. You roll 5d8 and add it together. That's how many hit points worth of a creature.
5d8. 5d8.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sleep is powerful.
Huh.
Ew, gross. Seriously? All right. 11.
11. All right. So, you do manage to get the woman and only the woman to fall asleep. When she falls asleep, her arms snuff. You see she does have burns on her arms, like she wasn't able to control this. Nim, from your insight roll, what did you get?
I got a 12.
A 12. So you were able to kind of see this coming. You watched as she started escalating more and more to the point that she couldn't contain herself, and clearly she's a mage of some sort. You also notice someone in blue and purple robes looking at this whole scene off to the way, around a corner of a building, about maybe 75, 80 feet off.
Do I recognize those robes, don't I? Isn't that Scriptoriad robes?
Yes, it is.
I am going to go to that person.
Okay. All right, so you go to that person, and are you trying to be sneaky? Are you trying to charge? What are you trying to do?
I'm walking with purpose, so pushing through the crowd where I need to, but keeping my eye on them 100% of the time, making my way, not aggressively in a fighting way, but like nothing is going to stop me from getting there.
Okay. So you can easily intimidate your way through the crowd. I'm not even going to make you roll because you just have that charisma. And as you go, you notice the person looks like they see you and they're not fleeing. And then as you get closer, they look at your face. Are you angry? What are you feeling?
Anger is just below the surface. Right now, I want answers, and if I do not get them, that's when anger comes out.
Okay. All right. So as you round the corner in the alley, you see the person sort of like ducks in the alley just before you go. You round the corner, and you see 3 individuals sitting there in the alley. 2 men, 1 woman. All of them look familiar to you. And the one man raises his hands. He's like, "We didn't do it. We really didn't do it this time." In his Elridian accent. And that's where we're going to cut it for tonight.
These guys.
Uh-huh. Just for your reference, Megan, I like leaving things on cliffhangers. It's something I love doing. But I look forward to you joining us basically until you decide that you would like your character to be elsewhere for the time being, because usually we like to complete at least one good story arc first, and this is just getting started. So
yeah, well, you're stuck with me at this point.
Good.
So, come back in 2 weeks, everybody. We play every other week on Thursdays. This coming Monday at noon, this episode will air on our YouTube channel, Quill and Sword. So check that out if you're interested. I see we got some new followers this time, so thank you. Welcome for joining us. Hope you enjoy the ride. And until next time, everybody, make sure to tell your story your way. Bye.